of this yarning circle, we'll have a space to discuss any upcoming events or ways that women can connect together. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm going to pass on to Julia, who is going to present the summary from last year's forum. Ari, if you could help with that.
Yeah, sure. And just before we start, is everyone okay if we maybe record this session just so that we can capture notes at the end, not for kind of sharing publicly, but yeah, helping with note taking? Anyone got a problem with that? Great, I'll do that. And I, just in the nick of time, have got a presentation that I can share. So that worked well too.
So hi everybody, congratulations to everyone who managed to make technology work today, especially to all those people on remote ranger stations who have all the internet troubles and all the rest. My job today is to speak for a lot of women to express what they came and said to us at the last Women's Fire Yarning Circle. So we go up a page.
This one?
Thanks. Yep, that's the one. Thanks for your help, Ari. So this was last year when we were also up and about in Darwin, and we had 40 women who work in different aspects of fire come together and talk about what issues there are and barriers there are for them working in the industry. We came up with, as Mardi said, 5 different themes that emerged. So one was aspects of fire, training, men, building capacity, and connections. Okay, next slide. I don't think it's a slide, I think it's a PDF, so it's a scroll down.
Is that right? Can you see the next one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah, we're good. So we thought it was really important to acknowledge that fire is not just most of what we see, which is that burning and the firefighting. Fire has lots of different aspects to it. You can burn for cultural reasons to protect culture. You can have fire stories, fire ceremony. Some ranger groups have been burning around bush tucker production. Environmental impacts on fauna and flora, consultations, so asking people what they want to burn and when, or what they don't want to burn. Planning, which is usually the alpha meetings for a lot of ranger groups. Prescribed burning, which is a very science way for saying your early burning or your back burning. Firefighting, mopping up, which is throwing those. And GIS, with all the mapping and that you can do fire is communication, so letting everybody know what's going on, picking up the firefighters from their houses, taking them home at the end of the day. Our firefighters really like it when we've got some icy poles for them. So if you're a bit scared of going on a fire line, maybe rangers need to know what fuel to take with them. Equipment, you know, as rangers, we know a lot of things break down, and sadly quite often, so it's really helpful when you've got that skill to be able to fix your equipment. Weed management, because if you don't look after your weeds, you're soon going to have biggest fire problem. And lastly was education, because you really need to harness the power of the younger generation and the older generation and the elders, and everybody work together, because without support of your community, it will be very hard to do your job at all. Next one is training. I think training generally. Are you able to scroll down, Ari?
Yeah. Can you see that? I've scrolled to the next one. Does it come up yet?
Yeah, got it. I think we're a little bit delayed. So it's about making sure, and again, this is the words of the women at the fire circle, not just equal access to training for men and women. It would be really great to see some female trainers, because I think most of us can relate. We see a lot of men come through the training sector. We talked about Indigenous two-way fire training, so that it shouldn't just be the scientific way, there should be a cultural way of training with fire, and also to have Indigenous people leading both sides of that training. For there to be some practice in the field, not just in training sessions. So some ranger groups felt like they did the training, but they never really got to give it a go and get good at that skill. Utilise training from alpha and certified training, because there is some training already out there you can go and get. And having a safe space to learn, because we all know if you're trying to learn something new and there's a lot of people around and maybe they're watching you, it can be really confronting. So being able to provide a safe space for women to learn and practice. And finally on that one, training in all aspects of fire. So it's just reinforcing you don't have to be a firefighter to take part in the fire sector. There's lots of different ways you can be involved in fire. So the next slide is men. So I think, unfortunately, probably a lot of women in this group now have experienced discrimination or exclusion because you're not a man or because you are a woman. But the good news is fire doesn't know if you're a man or a woman. So we were saying that we needed the men to listen and to trust what we are saying, to acknowledge that there's cultural gender barriers. So just making women equal and working next to the men isn't necessarily the right way. Gender is something that needs to be navigated culturally too. That we need support from men on the boards and men on the grounds with the ranger groups, and that we can use the male voice as a tool to gain support. So that picture at the bottom there, that's Joyce Boehm and Ernie Dingo. That was taken at our 2019 Women's Fire Camp. And because Ernie came out to film with us, we were able to use his strength and his voice to get all the voices of the women at the camp out there on national TV. So the next one is building capacity. So what are we going to do to help get women strong? We can see from this room we've got lots of women interested, but how are we going to build that stronger and stronger? So we need to encourage more female leaders, self-determination, to make sure that women in fire are choosing their own career paths and choosing their own jobs within fire, and it's not being decided by their coordinator, their CEO, or somebody else. To make sure that the board, community, and industry are supporting us, that the young ones are stepping up. There was some comments that the oldest senior rangers and some of the elders were getting tired and that they wanted to do a handover to the next generation. Women need to be seen and they need to be heard. We need more women rangers. We need to build our confidence. And for everybody, that will be confidence in different areas. The Women's Network, which is currently being set up, is still in need of support and leaders. We need to share stories where we can and speak up. Physical strength came up, and it was important to acknowledge that you don't start out strong, physically strong. Sometimes everybody has to do it day by day, and then everybody needs to be given that chance to work up for strength. Also, that physical strength is not something that you need to do all of fire. There's the different jobs, as we discussed. How it was important to take female elders when doing all of the fire activities, so all generations are included. And also, I mean, at Mimal, we take the school kids too, and I think a lot of ranger groups are the same. And finally, on that one, that women are active in all aspects of fire, not just present. So having a woman in the room does not make her a part of the project. It needs to be included at all stages. And so the last one was connections. So we've got all these really passionate women. You're all here now. It's amazing. We're so excited, but we've got to connect everybody up. so that we can help each other and not just be seeing each other at conferences or on webcams, that we're working together between those times. So ways we can help enable that are the Facebook groups that Mardi mentioned, and we do need help managing the online groups if anyone's interested. There should be information shared from your ranger group to your coordinator, and then coordinator should share that with the rangers. And again, because of the men's slide, it's important to share the information where appropriate with men too, so they understand what it's going to take to help support everybody together. Also exchanges, hopefully we can get some exciting exchanges going this year, and women's fire camps, and then we'll have one coming up, but we'll talk about that later. And the final slide. So we've come up with all the things that these women wanted to help with, they wanted support with, that they were keen to have more of. So now we've got to get that support. So have a think about, what do you and your ranger group want to get more support with to do your job in fire? Like, you might have already learned something, but if you haven't had a chance to practice, that's not enough. So just because you learned something doesn't mean you're fully strong in it. So what do you want to learn more of or get more support with? And also, what can your range group or whichever organisation you're from, what can they help teach other women? So what are you really good at? What's your passion? What's your strength? Do you love going out with a drip torch? Are you really passionate about ecology? There were some ranger groups doing some amazing work with bush tucker and fire. What can you share with the other women? So next, Lenka was going to go.
Lenka's here.
Oh, she's here. Yay. Hi, Lenka. Is she on?
Hi everybody. Thank you for introducing me, Julia. I got locked out. Yeah, they yeah, a whole heap of the forum weren't actually allocated to go to the breakout room, so it was a bit of a scurry. Thanks everybody. I think what might be good is if I go back and share the agenda. Would that be okay? Would that be helpful, Mardi? Or shall we head into introductions?
Into intros, I think it's a good idea.
Fantastic. We're kind of running a bit sort of on the fly now as well. So thanks for your patience. So we'll head into introductions, everyone. We've really just got a minute to introduce ourselves, and also to just bounce off those themes that Julia was just talking about, and Mardi before that. So I'll just sort of rotate around, but also I guess I'll start off by just introducing myself. My name is Lenka. I am employed by the International Savanna Fire Management Initiative as a women's network facilitator, and today I've been able to just be a part of the Savanna Fire Forum group. I acknowledge country here in Wadawurrung where I am, but also that I'm a Yarra Dandu, I'm a Yarra woman, and I acknowledge that it's full moon time. So historically this is a time that women on my country and here in Wadawurrung and Boonwurrung in Melbourne, that women did gather. And it's important that we do gather. So thank you very much. I might pass on to, just have a look. We've got Fiona. Fiona, where are you calling in from? And if one or a couple of the rangers want to speak, that would be great.
You're on now, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, we are the Murray Warney Uncle Rangers, and we are from Tennant Creek. CLC.
Thank you. Do you have time? One of you want to tell us what excites you about your work? And just maybe introduce yourself one more.
We do like looking after the country.
Fantastic.
We've got 3 very new rangers, and they've been very strong to come up and be talking, so that's nice.
Thank you, Fiona, for bringing everyone in, and welcome. We've got Rosie Goslet King.
Hey Lenka, hey everyone. I'm a UN woman living and working on Darwin country, so well away from all of you down south. I work for WWF. I'm the Women Rangers Environmental Network Coordinator. Fairly new to it, only been doing this for about 6 months. But WWF is really trying to pick up their game in supporting Indigenous-led cultural fire and ensuring there's equality in it, which is really where my passion is. I was a ranger myself here. I don't know if I just said that already. Before, unlike a lot of us, I know, yeah, the challenges of it, and yeah, before I joined WWF, that's what I was doing. But sadly, my whole team and I all lost our jobs. So I'm really passionate about trying to help on a more strategic level to ensure there are women on country and there is place for us and there is funding and support. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. While we are on the, I guess WWF does global work as well, I might just share before we move quickly on to Sissy Gore Birch. Is that okay, Mardi, here, or would you prefer to keep going around the circle? Yep. I'll just share with you, oh, actually, we'll just keep going. Sorry, we'll continue our circle. Alex, do you have, would you like to introduce yourself? And then from you, I guess, if you would like, you can tap into someone else on the top of your screen and ask you can pass the ball along.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Can do.
I can see the Mama Dewera Bob Gok waving. Hey, Darlock. My name's Alex. I'm a linguist at CSIRO. I'm down here in Canberra on Winnable country. I just wanted to come along and listen to some of the stories that people were talking about fire. My research here is about how to support transmission of traditional ecological knowledge. So I'm at the herbarium here at CSIRO looking at plant knowledge, but fire, plants, it's all linked. So I just wanted to come along and listen to some of these stories. So I'll say hello to my gakak and all my garang out at Mamadawere. I will pass on next to, sorry, maybe Helen Truscott.
Thank you. And while we're just passing around, we'll just have a seed of, can you consider what you teach and what you learn from each other? And I'll just put in the chat that that little offer. Thanks, Helen.
Hello. How are you?
Great. Good to see you. Welcome.
Okay, welcome. The young rangers are here with me, and listening to what you're saying in the video or whatever.
Thank you, Helen. And hello, welcome all the rangers there. While we're
Welcome you too. Alex, is it Alex?
Yeah.
And Elan. And Rosie, Fiona, Julia. Everybody, welcome to see you and hello.
Deadly, too good.
And also Helen's here. My name's Gladys anyway. and Belinda, Margaret, and Margaret. Margaret D and Margaret D.
Gladys, what is something that you learn from all the young fellas, all the young rangers there, out of interest? Can you tell us the other way?
Yeah, just always tell them when they come to work, they start do some checking cars and start getting chemicals ready for spraying out the weeds. And also we go out to bush to get all these spraying the weeds that outside the what is it called? Every what double pitch. Gamba grass and mission grass and Cambia pea, caltrops, all that weeds. They start spraying. They're learning how to do the spraying. They do the measuring things like measuring the chemicals, how that gas, and then put it into the tanks that we're taking with chemicals.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Rangers. Who would you like
And
to pass over to? We got.
Also, we're doing fire, when the fire season comes, we go out to burn the fire. Sometimes when it's wildfire, they go out and, stop the firefighting with the young boys and young girls.
Thank you. Eridani. Thank you, Helen. Thank you.
Thanks.
Gladys. Eridani, would you like to go up next? And then, Eri, I'm not sure if everybody can see in the chat there. There's a couple of questions that Mimal would like you to think about, that we'd like you to think about in regards to, introducing yourself and thinking about how your organization or your business, your work sort of fits in with connecting with other groups around Australia, around the world, or just locally even.
Yeah, just checking, you're talking to me. I first time in a long time confused with an Eri and an Ari here. That's an unusual coincidence. I'm a Ballanda woman. I live at a property called Wongalara. We are Mimal Women Rangers southern neighbours, but we also northern neighbours for Yugalmungi Rangers at Nooka and Noonbarindi, so Southeast Arnhem Land IPA around that side. I'm an ecologist here and I work for the Australian Wildlife Conservancy, and I'm really here because I'm interested in how we can really involve women's traditional fire knowledge into, two-way science both ways in how to get managing country with right way fire happening, and really get women involved in that, because I feel like there's different parts of the ways women and men think about fire, and really important ways of helping biodiversity, which is what AWC is really about. And I think women have an important part to play in that. And also, yeah, so I guess from my perspective, I've got science I can teach, and things that we know about land management and wildlife, but also I would love to learn from all of the women who work in this sort of space and around fire and biodiversity and looking after country about, you know, the connections to landscape and how that sort of traditional knowledge can really help us look after country.
Thank you. The video winners are the Thamara Rangers here today. Anyone want to introduce yourself and maybe if you can speak to those 3 questions if you want. How can you help other groups or solutions for connection? Northern Land Council mob, are you here?
Hello. Hello.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Roslyn Melfi, Tamil Ranger. My name is Margaret Melfi, Tamil Ranger. My name is Ben Ranger. I'm at the Tamil Ranger.
How do you learn from other ranger groups? Have you can you give us some examples how you've learned from other ranger groups or taught other ranger groups the skills that you've learned?
Yes.
Any?
No more. Email. Email Ranger. Hello, sister.
All right. Thank you, Tamara. You keep freezing on me. So have we got, there's Jen Ansel. Hello, would you like to, we'll pass on to you.
Hi, how you going, everyone? Can everyone hear okay? I've just not used to using these headphones. My name's Jen Ansel. I work for Alpha Arnhem Land Fire Abatement. We're the Aboriginal owned company that was created by all the ranger groups in Arnhem Land, operating the Waffle project initially, but now we work with 9 groups right across Arnhem Land, which includes so many of the fabulous women's ranger programs as well. Attached to those groups, we've got Wadakin here, Azrak, Mimal, of course, Silvermungi, Uralka, biggest mob, fantastic women ranger programs. So yeah, I'm really keen just to sit in and hear. Alpha really just generates and sells carbon credits, and then the funding goes back to the ranger programs and their organisations to be able to do a whole lot of community initiatives and projects with. But it's great to hear priorities and particularly how Alpha can better support women in those projects, and it might be through things like training and making sure there's women trainers available. And yeah, so great to hear ways in which we can potentially support women in fire.
Thanks, Jen. Wadakin mob, you mentioned Wadakin's here today. We'll say hello.
I'm at a Wary crew. Are you there?
Can see the Daluk. Yeah.
My name is Savanna. I'm helping with Daluk Rangers. Behind me with Lorena Maraluda. She's a Daluk Ranger. I've got Tanisha Olga. She's Ranger Daluk again. Behind me, I've got Susanna Naburot. She's a Daluk Ranger. Carmen Ganaraj, Daluk Ranger, and Alexandria Namanil. And Lorna at the back. So we're just learning how to work with the girls, spraying, weed spraying, and fire, which is we're doing early burning, back burning, helping with the boys on lower ground burning. We have to fly with the chopper, so yeah. And also how to deal with weeds pulling out, like red pods and hippies. So we've got a lot of hippies and gamma grass. So we just bring up.
No, we went and helped fight fires with the
Oh yeah, we was helping the boys doing a fire fighting also. So we was learning how to deal with the blower and how to carry the heavy bags with the water and essentials. So I was learning also how to deal with the fire. So yeah, it was good.
Mimal have asked, you know, you were involved in a camp last year, the Dale camp.
I wasn't there with them, so I think my daughter and my niece was there, Lorena and Alexandria.
Last year, Wadikin didn't go to the Mimal file camp, but we did have a Daluk camp for Wadikin Rangers, eh?
Yeah.
I'll jump in. I'm Selena as well. I'm from Wadikin. I'm based at Gubbawanami. Yeah. A lot of the Wadikin Daluk Rangers also do a lot of protection burning around rock art as well, which is potentially something that Wadikin Mob can support other rangers with.
Great. Thank you, Selena. Thank you, Wadikin. We would love to get to everyone. So how about we just do a little speed run through just so we get to meet everyone and see everyone's faces. We're going to go to Deb Sparks. We'll say hello and we'll just pass on to the next person. By the sound of it, people can't see each other's names. So I'm just going to keep bouncing around. It would be great to have a bit of time for Mimal to talk about some upcoming events as well. So Deb, would you like to go? And then I'll do Chantel Murray after that.
Yep, so Deb from the Centre of Excellence for Prescribed Burning. I'm actually on Wurundjeri country in Melbourne, but I was privileged to come to the Yarning Circle last year, and part of my role is engagement and working with stakeholders, and I get a lot of calls from various people around a lot of stuff to do with prescribed burning. But after the 1920 fires, I had a lot of calls from people interested in Indigenous burning practices and a few around women in Indigenous burning practices in particular. So I'm really here to find out who I can send those people to when they call me in the future.
Excellent. I think that there'll be some really good connections here. So everyone will receive each other's details. Chantel, thank you, Deb.
Hi, ladies. Good to see you all from all over the northern top end of Australia. Good to see and hear a lot of women in fire. my name is Chantal Murray, and I am the woman coordinator for the Murra Rangers, based in Fitzroy Crossing in the Kimberley. Our area we manage is the Great Sandy Desert, and some of the challenges that we face as women rangers is where we can burn and where we can't burn, due to most of the Great Sandy Desert is covered with living water holes. We call them gilla, and mainly it's always looked after by men rangers. And but there is a project area that along the Canning Stock Route that the women have been burning, and it's a good area. There's no no-go zone that we can't go to, so it's accessible for us to be able to burn there as women. A lot of the women's been doing a lot of things around mapping, still trying to understand that whole purpose of mapping and how it links up with fire. I've got a team of 6 women rangers. They're all in training now this week with plants, and yeah, so planning around connection to country, working with traditional owners and getting that connection going, working with schools and implementing how to do right way burning, and also linking everything up with plants and animals and how it all relates to our seasons and stuff, and where burning fits in to all of that. Fire was used as a tool for the desert people, in terms of hunting and gathering, and one of the big things that Murra women acknowledge is carrying that knowledge on from the old people, because we women are nurturers in every household, and when we are on country as young women rangers, we also gathering that knowledge to take on that next responsibility in the next storytellers, the next nurturers of country.
Thank you, Chantal. Dudley, thank you. People, please put in the chat some, things that you're up to. I know that, Chantal, you've been up to some two-way science workshops and things like that. So it'd be great to hear about things that you've been up to in the chat while we introduce everyone. Kimberley Women's, there's your group. I'm not sure if that's KLC or another group, but if you want to introduce yourselves quickly. We'll only just do a quick 1-minute hello and introduction, how you might be connecting with other women across the top end or Australia. We got KLC there, or is that Yaru Mob?
Yes. Hi, we are coming in from the KLC on Yaru country. We've got some Yaru Rangers, Dambi Mangari, Chantal from Bush Heritage, and Annika, KLC ecologist, and I'm Kirsty, the women's coordinator. Yeah. Hi.
Brilliant. What a group. That's very that's what you call good partnershiping right there. All fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Please feel free to put your all those activities and what you've been up to in the chat, but also how you are working together, how you can help other people going forward, or things that you need or would like to know more about. We've got Hannah Cliff there. Look out.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so my name's Hannah. I'm in Perth at the moment, so Wadjuk country. I work with the 10 Deserts Project, so do some work with Chantal Murray there, Nudra, and work with the KLC and also with CLC groups. So it's great to see the women from Tennant Creek there as well. We help groups with fire training and fire operations. And really keen to help women in that space as well, and help connect women across the desert to learn from each other and do two-way stuff with fire. And thanks for having us, the desert groups in the Savanna Fire Forum. I feel like we're coming in, and it's really great to hear about what you guys are doing. And I don't know what Chantel thinks or what the Tennant Creek women think, but if we could do some exchanges maybe from the desert to the Savanna, and it's a bit different in the desert, but we've got stuff to teach, I think, and stuff to learn from you guys that have been doing stuff in the Savanna for a long time in this space.
Yeah, that's great. Please, if you want, put down things that you'd be interested in learning from other groups, whether it's generally or specific groups. Like some of the groups are doing amazing things. So yeah, go for that. Shiloh, hi there. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Would you like to tell us a bit about what you're up to? Shiloh is from ABC Foundation, ABC Corporation. Are you able to tap in? Or Larissa, we'll go with you for the minute, if that's all right.
Sorry, my microphone. Sorry.
Oh, yep. Go for it, Shiloh.
Sorry, I was just saying before, I bought these like $2, I think I might have stolen off one of my kids, their $2 earphones, and I can hear, but I can't speak into them. I'm coming to you from Cairns, so I'm on in Yirraganji, Indinji, and Gunganji country. I come from, my great-grandmother was born up at Brox Creek up in Darwin, so I'm a Waggaman woman, and I work for the Aboriginal Carbon Foundation as their regional manager. The most exciting thing I think we're doing is we just up in the Northern Territory in Darwin last year did some ranger training, which was really exciting. I come from a background, I worked at a local land council for 20 years. So just being able to come from that space into, because I knew I wanted to move on once determinations happened, but I wanted to work in what happens after determination and just true empowerment and stuff like that. And of course, working in land issues, especially native title, that's a very male dominated arena, and you do see a lot of women take a backward step. So I always love these women's talking circles, just to hear women's stories and what they're doing, and yeah, it's very empowering.
Thank you very much. And it would be wonderful to maybe pop a link into your work, Shiloh. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in what you're doing, and if you could share to the Facebook page, which will be also shared, whether it's in the chat from one of us or in the notes going forward. Larissa.
That'd be amazing. And if anybody ever wants to have a yarn, just shoot me a message. And I talk too much at the best of times, so I'm always up for a yarn.
Thanks, Shiloh. Larissa, how are you going?
Hi everyone, great to join in today. Yeah, I work with the Australian Wildlife Conservancy in the Kimberley, up Mornington at the moment on Bunabar country, but I work with the Untitled Rangers in partnership, and we do a fair bit of fire management, and I mostly do science, but I was really interested to hear other people's stories and hear about the cultural aspect as well as some of the science, and yeah, it's really great to be here today.
Fantastic. Livia, you've got your video on. How are you?
Hi there, everyone. I'm from Brazil, so I'm a bit far from you guys, and I'm here mostly to learn and listen to your experience, because here in Brazil we're still a lot of steps behind. We're still learning a lot and trying to hear from Brazilian Rangers. So here we have a Savanna as well, we call Cerrado, and we have a lot of women that manage their lands with fire. Mostly like men and women do it together, and we're trying to learn and figure out how to support those, those traditional people. And it's quite hard because we don't have a lot of support from the government, and the fire is not well seen yet. We're still a lot of steps behind, so I'm mostly here to learn. Thank you.
That's wonderful. We'd love to hear, stay in touch. You'll see a link to a Facebook page. It is Northern Territory focused, but there'll be a lot of information around, training and other things that all of these women here may wish to share on that page. So we'd love to hear more about what you do. Chuck it in the chat if you can, Livia. Thank you. Katrine, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Fantastic. Similar to Larissa, I'm with Australian Wildlife Conservancy here out at Mornington in the Kimberley. I'm very new and I'm really interested in learning from everybody. I come from a science and wildlife background. But yeah, I'd love to give the floor to people that have a lot more knowledge to share, but I'm here to learn.
We've got Jessie, Cassandra, Kirsten, Claudia, and then we'll, so Jessie, would you like to go next? Thanks, Kirsten. Cassandra, are you available? No. Anyone who hasn't been introduced, feel free to pop up, and then what I might do, if that is the case, thanks, Katrin, I might share a quick video of, this is Sissy Gore-Birch at the Global Environment Facility event. It's a 2-minute vid, so I'll just start sharing now. This, I guess, is a seed from the International Savanna Fire Management Initiative's perspective. We'd love to have women given links to opportunities to speak internationally, and I'm just going to share this so that you can see what and how Sissy Gore-Birch is represented, and also what she has to say to us in some ways. So let's fire away.
I'll move now to Sissy and then finally with Pasang. So Sissy, over to you.
Thank you, Nicholas, and thank you for knowledge versus the thing I'm regularly dealing with, not only just locally within my own communities, but also just on a national level, and trying to get some of that message through, be able to take it seriously. Alfedi, you did, I think you hit it on the head with regard to the last decision makers always goes back to the Western science. And I think this is historical challenges. And we need to try and break some of these historical challenges down to be able to get the traditional ecological knowledge on the table and to be serious about what actions come out of that. Because we're still dealing with those historical challenges, it's going to take time to be able to change those mindsets, those attitudes, and to be able to look at some sort of tailored competency within the systems that we're dealing with. Because when we're working through a systemic, the systems within the government, they've never really had the interest of traditional people or Aboriginal people or Indigenous people across the world. So this is something that we're continuously fighting for that acknowledgement, for that recognition. And this is where I think we need to be really thinking strategically. I'm forever passing this message on to our people locally, is that we need more people at the table. We need more people educated and understanding these issues, because at the end of the day, we all sit in silos. We work within our own organisations. And how do we become more effective in regards to how do we communicate that a lot more to be able to, I guess, bring our alliances with other people who may not be in these circles to be a part of making that change worldwide.
Okay, thank you, Chris, Sissy. There's a point that Lucy Malenke has just made in the chat about the public.
Is there a link? You're on mute.
Sorry, everybody. So I'm going to hand back to Mardi and Julia now. Thank you everyone for introductions, and feel free to use that chat please to share anything else. Yeah.
Thanks, Lenka. Hang on, just get you on view. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up, anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we just wanted, we didn't have the chance to do our one, so we just quickly wanted to say that we're really keen to learn, try and do some firefighting on different types of country. Which, sorry, we're really keen to do some firefighting on different types of country. Also, how to manage fuel on a management level, if anyone's an expert on running fuel around and outgas, that kind of stuff. Also to try out some wet season burning, because it's not something we do here at Mimal currently. And when it comes to what we can help assist in, the women here are all really competent in burning. They're really passionate about safety. If people are a bit scared of working with fire, what you can do to make people feel safe. Also how to make traditional fire breaks. We had some good experience of that, and using traditional bush torch for burning. And if anyone's never been in a chopper or a helicopter, if you're a bit nervous to get up in a helicopter, we're happy to come and have you in our chopper and sit alongside you while you learn how to use the fire bomber. So on that note, we are running our women's fire camp again this year. We're still figuring out all the details, talking to Wadikin, talking to Darwin and Azarac too. But it's scheduled in for the 10th of May. But there's still a lot of talks around it. But if you're keen to come up to join us at the Women's Fire Camp, everybody is most welcome. We're a little bit limited in resources, but we can help out if people need to travel with camping gear and things like that. And super keen to do some exchanges, especially with our neighbours as always, and hopefully maybe interstate if that works out this year. Yeah, and now I'm going to hand you over to Mardi to talk about the Women's Forum.
So the last thing that we want to mention is the 2021 Strong Women for Healthy Country Forum, which is happening at Bunanjal in collaboration with Darwin and the Bunanjal Strong Bala Women's Group. It's happening from the 24th to the 28th of May. So 2 weeks after this fire camp. Put it in your diary. We're going to get in touch with you all shortly, but we'd love as many people as possible to come and support, and like that photo that Julia showed at the beginning of her presentation, or at the end of her presentation, it was so amazing to have over 140 women get together at the last Women's Forum, which was in 2019. So we'd love to see you all again there soon. Annette, anything on that?
That's all. We'd like sorry, I'm just trying to talk. It's at Branga, and you might know where the location of the place. And we decided to have it in the bush where women will feel free. And we'd like you women to come and join us, and we've got a lot of plans. And we'll talk about exchange, sharing, you know, all those things, and networks, and how we can build connections. So yeah, feel free to come along and join us.
And a lot of the points that we've discussed here, therefore all aspects of women caring for country and for healthy country management. So please send us an email. I've put the email address in the chat so that we can send you all the information that you need to know about coming along.
Thanks, Mardi and Julia. Shiloh was asking a question about that. Shiloh, did you want to? She was just.
Sorry, I was just ripping my cheap earphones out so I could talk. I just wanted to ask, I was really interested in just being able to listen and kind of soak everybody in at that forum, but I didn't know whether it was ranger specific, like if it was in particular targeting women rangers.
The focus of the Strong Women for Healthy Country Forum is women rangers and women in land management, but there are women that are caring for country that aren't rangers for a whole lot of reasons. Employment opportunities, there's not enough space, they're at home caring for family, they might be doing that work at an art centre. So although it's land management focused, we understand that it needs to be to a bigger audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in what we do, we don't get to see like the beautiful side of listening to the fire stories and all that sort of stuff. So I'd just be really interested just to be a fly on the wall basically and just learn and listen.
Yeah, Charlotte, that's
it's about, sorry, Anna here.
Hello.
Hello. And women being strong and women coming together to share their knowledge on learning on country and how to manage to look after children when they're small and growing up, and we'll keep doing that and sharing things that women have, you know, the problems they have. How can we solve those problems, you know? And how can we get together and make women becoming more strong and focus on things outside and work more together?
Sounds like a beautiful forum to be a part of.
And I think that's probably a good place to conclude, as I know that it's 2:30, which is later than this is supposed to be going for. But I think that just highlights that there's so much conversation that needs to happen, and an hour is just not enough. By the time we've got around and introduced to know who we're talking to, I think a 3-day forum is also not going to be enough time, but it's going to get the conversations moving on from where we got to in 2019.
Yeah.
And thank you, Arnie, for that beautiful description. That described it perfectly.
Thank you. Hope we see you all there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lee.
So I guess one of the seeds to leave on also is really something that Mimal has discussed, is that all of these sort of events, this sort of open event is bigger than all of us. It's about us all connecting and holding these spaces. So I think things like the Facebook page that that Mardi's set up, and we will need a couple of people to be administrators for that. And it would be wonderful for all of us to be able to contribute and share to that as well. And going forward, please share those events, and it's pick and choose. If something isn't ideal for your group, saying no is just as important as saying yes in sometimes, so that we all, you know, we're able to look after ourselves so we can look after each other and our countries. But it is and has been awesome to connect everybody today. And thank you to Mimal.
And Lenka, the summary superheroes.
Yeah. So were you able to elect a summary superhero in my absence?
Yeah, there were a couple, but I'm just wondering if it's going to be better if we could just share that info on chat.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of people's time.
Fantastic. So in case we're ripped away and put into the main room, if you were a summary superhero, if you put your hand up, please pop those points, couple of points that you might have written down, or all of us, if there was something that really stood out for you about this gathering today, about this talking circle, for your organisation or for yourself personally, put it in the chat. It would be great to share back to everybody that has attended today. And just great to have everyone's faces and countries all connecting today, and we look forward to having more connection with that Brazilian mob. Thanks for tapping in. I'm sure it's like middle of the morning over there. So over and out, everybody. Shall we all shout out, women in fire, too deadly. Thank you. I'll do it for us all. Women in fire, too deadly. Over and out, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the full moon, and summary superheroes, please put your comments, your notes in the chat, please. Thank you.